like a lot of stuff that's happening in diaspora going now. I go back to us. When I told you something, I just wanted to throw in for a wild card. Like when we talked about unity, on the Alabama front. So there's something going on in the diaspora. By diaspora, I mean African diaspora.
Okay.
So going to the continent of Africa, there are certain countries that are starting to fight back.
Right.
And I don't have to go into a whole history of colonialism because we'll be here for 3 hours. And this is not what that podcast is for, but I'm just going to briefly touch on it for 2 minutes. So in the news, which was very big, I want to say Niger, which is a country in Western Africa. Niger is above Nigeria. And I want to say Burkina Faso, which is another country in Western Africa. They're trying to cut their ties with their colonial powers. There's a leader from Burkina Faso called Ibrahim, and I can't pronounce his last name, Traoré or whatever. Basically, he said, basically France, come get it in blood.
Wow. Yo.
And again, we don't have to go into the colonial history of France and how France has been sucking money and blood out of Western Africa for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And the reason why I'm even here in America in the first place. But to see leaders say, you know what, we're going to start, how you said we're going to figure it out with the Alabama situation? Yeah. Countries on the continent of Africa saying we're going to start figuring it out. Yeah. It might take us 10 years. It might take us 100 years, but enough's enough.
Right.
So I just want to, as a person that supports the diaspora, as a person that supports the continent of Africa, I just want to say as a person over here in America, I see what's going on the continent. I send my support your way because if our mother ain't free, then we all can't be free. That's my belief. For whatever, no matter if you're in Jamaica, no matter if you're in Central South America, no matter if you're African American or whatever you are, if our mother ain't free, then we can't be free. So to the countries on the continent of Africa that's wrestling with their colonial powers and finally saying, you know what, come get in the blood, we ready to bang out. I support you and, more power. Right. And I can't go too deep into that because then they'll be banning the podcast and sending cease and desist. But that's the short version of what's going on the continent of Africa. Right. You got anything you want to interject on that?
No, I 1000% agree with you. And I think it's, I just think that, it feels like, they always, people always keep saying, people of color, we always like making excuses and blaming everybody and all that. Well, okay. Well, we'll just cut the cord.
And that's what Burkina Faso and Niger and other West African countries are starting to do.